Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, this is going to be the beginnings of a formal garden around my vegetable garden and some figs I have over here and a little pollinator garden I have here with some salvia and some other things in it. I'm going to be using these Baby Gem Boxwoods from the Southern Living Plant Collection and also some Sunshine Ligustrum from the Southern Living Plant Collection. There's also going to be some structures built on this, as they'll be in other videos, but I wanted to go ahead and get the boxwoods in the ground and get the Sunshine Ligustrum in the ground. There's going to be a little brick landing on one end of the little pass-through that's in the garden, and then some bricks going through the middle, a brick pad on the other. In the corners, there's going to be some structures that I'll allow peas or vegetables of some kind to grow on, or maybe a flowering vine of some kind, but all four corners will have some sort of tower like that. Like I say, those will be in some other videos. So I'm going to walk you around in a circle real quick, and then step one here is how to make a square, because this is very important if you're going to make a formal garden, that you actually and it's going to have angles and not curves, that those angles be square for sure. So I'll show you how I set up the ropes and the strings to make a perfect square here to get started on this. Like I say, the corners will have some sort of upright piece on them. All four sides will be lined with Baby Gem Boxwoods. And then right here in this entrance, there's two beds in this vegetable garden. I'm putting a brick path through the middle, and then there's going to be a landing pad here and a landing pad on the other side. These Sunshine Ligustrum right here will get cone shaped over time. But these Baby Gems run out, there'll be another upright piece here, and then up there as well in that upper corner. And I just recently planted some figs in here. That, like I say, that corner will have something upright and not a plant in it. And going across here, same thing. There'll be a brick landing here. There's going to be a fence going in, low fence going in right behind the rows back here. And my compost bin is going to go in one of those fenced in areas. You'll see those projects when they take place, but I've always had my compost pile up here somewhere, and I need to build something for it. That's where all the compost for this vegetable garden came from. I left town for a couple days and I got some rust severely on my cucumbers. I should have staked them to start with, but they kind of got out of control on me, so that's life. So I'm going to put a string edge around the outside perimeter of this entire bed. The first thing we need to do is make sure that our square is square to the house. So I'm going to put a line in on this side where the house is and adjust it until I have it exactly the same distance from the house. I'll measure it in 2 or 3 spots off the house onto this string. I cut up a tomato stake into 1 foot stakes right here, and I put a little point on the end of them. I have a rubber mallet that I'm going to pound these into the ground with on the corners. Okay, that's fine right there. I've got some twine. It could be any type of twine. It wouldn't really matter what type of twine you use. I'm going to tie it off and just tie it tightly. This is just jute, a roll of jute twine right here that I actually use for tying down Christmas trees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the stake in on the other end and just approximate it. So now that I have the 2 stakes in the ground, I'm going to measure in a couple spots off of the house. I can already tell I've got to make some adjustment here. It's 143 inches from the house there, and it is only 139 and a half there. That string on that end needs to go out, and this one can go in some like that. So we know this string's parallel to the house now. It's the same measurement off the house in 3 different spots. So once we have that established, the way we're going to make sure that this line right here is perpendicular, is at 90-degree corner right here, is we're going to use the 3-4-5 rule is the way I've always done it. It's the Pythagorean theorem, if anybody remembers that. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you measure one direction off this corner 3 feet and make a mark on that string, and if you have some black a black marker to mark this string, that's the best thing to use. I didn't have a black marker, but I'm putting a piece of tape right there. The inside of that piece of tape is 3 feet down that string this way. And then I'm gonna come up this way and measure from that line that runs across there. I'm gonna measure up 4 feet up this new string that I put in here. And I'm gonna put a piece of tape right there at 4 feet, okay? Now, if I have this in a square in this corner, the distance between these 2 pieces of tape is gonna be 5 feet, okay? So if I measure from the inside there to the inside there, and it's slightly above 5 feet right this second, okay? It's about 61 inches, needs to be 60. So I need to turn this string in just a little bit to bring that, to make this 5 feet, but it's actually very, very close already. So I'm just up here at the top where the stake is. All I have to do is knock it back inside just a little bit. Make sure it stays good and tight. And then come back down and measure off again and see if we have this at 5 feet. And it's really, really close now. That's almost a perfect 90-degree angle. All we should have to do is go around and do that on the other 3 corners. And we'll have a perfect square here. I'm gonna run the other string on the other side up. And then the top string, what I could actually do, I could actually use the 3-4-5 rule in both corners, or I can just measure the length of this side string right here. And as long as these 2 are square, and the length of this 2 sides are the same, then those angles up there should be perfect. All the strings are laid out, and there's one right here going right through the center where this brick is going to be. There's going to be a brick landing here, and there's actually going to be a structure going up over this as well. I have all the corners squared off. We'll walk all the way around in just a second. These corners, like I say, are going to be something that's upright. All of these boxwoods are 2 feet apart. I put a mark on the string every place where one of the boxwoods is going in. You can't see that, it's with a pink highlighter. So like I say, all the boxwoods are 2 feet apart. These are 26 inches. This is 26 inches to the edge of that pot from that string, and from this string to the edge of that pot, giving me enough room to build whatever I'm going to build here. And then these boxwoods, which of course, like lined up right this second, you can see they're not straight, but they are, the string is straight, and then they'll end up about 4 inches off the string. The string is marked every 2 feet. The hard work begins now. I've got to pull out all these boxwoods, get this mulch out of the way, and then dig all these holes. These are actually big pieces. So on the back side, we have exactly the same thing. There's 2 of the Sunshine Ligustrum, the string running through the middle. There's going to be a landing here, exactly the same, and a little thin brick sidewalk going that way. Not much of a sidewalk really, just like 2 bricks wide. These come around here. There's a crepe myrtle I planted the other day, video going up soon. And corner, exactly the same thing, where we have enough room over there to do that. And going around this way, exactly the same thing. But all of these strings have been, the first string was measured off the house, and then the next strings, we did the 3-4-5 rule in all the corners. So all the holes are dug, and the next step that I do, the reason I dig all the holes at one time is so that I can take the plants out of the containers and set them into the hole. You can probably see up this line that these aren't completely perfect. So I want to make sure that I actually have every plant exactly where it goes before I start backfilling it. I've got heavy clay soils here, so I've put some pine bark soil conditioner on top of the soil. That'll mix in as they get planted. They're elevated a little bit. I'm going to run drip irrigation around each plant all the way around the perimeter of this bed, and but that's where it is right now. And then I'm going to take off, I'm summer planting these, so I'm going to do some pruning. I'm going to be doing some pruning on these anyway, because I want to get them all exactly the same height, get them started off all exactly the same. The Sunshine Ligustrum need to be cone shaped just a little bit. I've made a huge mess here. This is like 42 plants, digging the holes for 42 plants in an existing bed makes a huge mess. So there's just a lot to get back cleaned up. The main thing I wanted to show you here is that I take them out of the containers, put them in the hole, make sure they're exactly where you want them, and then make slight adjustments off of your string and make sure that they stay on the marks on your string, exactly in the places where you intended them to be. So So all the plants are now in the ground. The Sunshine Ligustrum have been cone-shaped. The Baby Gem Boxwoods have been cut off on the top slightly. I pine strawed in this space, and it differentiated from the surrounding area. Pretty much anything that's outside or inside of this bed right now has landscaping going on, and so it's just kind of a mess. So this is not as sharp as it will be over the next couple months as I do all the surrounding areas as well. But this looks great framed in. This vegetable garden just looks absolutely fantastic framed in like this. Like I say, both the Sunshine Ligustrum and the Baby Gem Boxwoods are super low maintenance. I have videos on my channel for both of those. I'll link those in the description if you want to take a look at those. Both of them are from the Southern Living Plant Collection, but just easy plants. I won't really have to do a whole lot of maintenance on them, just occasionally go out here and shape them back up the way I want to shape them. But don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure you're following along, because you'll see this entire area inside and outside of this formal garden change quite a bit over the next few months. Thank you very much for watching.